Welcome once again to the BizLife Podcast. We are here recording live from our downtown Las Vegas studios at the lovely Latin Chamber of Commerce. My name is Mike Bindrup. I'm with Reno Extension Small Business Education Program. Happy to be here today with Carlos Gomez.
Thank you so much. Very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. And we're so appreciative of the Latin Chamber of Commerce and what you guys do as a sponsor for our show. And really appreciate your letting us use your studio here. And
we are great partners on this. So we are great partners.
Thank you. And today we're going to be talking about metals. Metals you can invest in, jewelry, a little bit of everything above this under the sun, right? So we're here with Aaron and Chad, and we're going to let them introduce themselves in just a second here. And I was going to say, I've known Aaron for a long time, and he's a wealth of knowledge. So I'll let you go ahead and just introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Absolutely. So Aaron Wins, 6 generations in the diamond trade. Family came from Europe. Mm-hmm. My dad's from Antwerp, Belgium. Diamond Capital, Diamond Hub.
Capital. Yep.
And we've been here in Vegas since '93, and we help local businesses, business to business deals, wholesale, and then we do everything from engagement rings to custom jewelry to everything jewelry related. Mm-hmm. And then naturally we do the metals as well if people want to invest and dab into that world.
Awesome. So 6 generations. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a big family tradition of being in jewelry and being in metals.
It is. And my grandfather, they came from like Jewish tradition, so it was the men that carry on the business, and so there's a little bit of weight on my shoulders to keep this.
You got to
going.
keep stepping it up. That's okay.
That's right.
Your fathers and grandparents will be all over you. You better behave.
That's true.
And you need to make money.
Yes,
that's right.
Of course. keep the tradition going, and Yeah.
Awesome. And then Chad, tell us about yourself.
So I'm Chad Gaudette with Second Star Custom Jewelry. I handle the other end of the business. Aaron handles the metals and the diamonds, and I'm actually a goldsmith. It's my hands. I craft the metals and the diamonds into wearable art, which in turn can up their value.
That's pretty amazing. Now, I noticed you guys brought a bunch of stuff here today.
It's really cool.
It looks amazing. Looks like we're worth $1 million, Carlos, right here.
Yeah.
So that's okay. Yeah. Do you want to tell us what you brought for us today?
Yeah. What Chad has a couple pieces.
Well, sure. I mean, just to show off a couple of the aspects of the business. What we have here, if pass it around to Carlos, that's actually an emerald, rough cut.
Nice.
Something a little different before it makes it to its finer stages.
Okay.
Where you see something
It's from
polished.
Colombia?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Nice.
That's talking to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little example.
Traditionally, they're from Colombia. Yes. Never mind.
It's typically,
Brazil,
where it starts before they start gaining value.
Mm-hmm.
They come out of the ground at a certain value. It gets cut, the value goes up. It gets cut again, the value goes up, until you end up with something much finer.
Call him parcero, come over, parcero.
Nice.
We also have I've got a little bit of diamonds here, simple diamond tennis bracelet. But this right here, I know Carlos is a big fan.
Carlos loves diamonds.
Yeah,
it's a diamond.
not only me.
You know how they say diamonds are a girl's
associates.
best friend?
Yeah.
Carlos's best friend. So, so.
Yes. But the diamonds it's a great way to invest your money.
Absolutely.
If you can get yourself a good deal through somebody like Aaron, pass that down to somebody like me that's going to turn it into a piece of art. Now you've got a very small investment that you can hide in a safe. You can put it in a safety deposit box. You can protect that investment for years and years to come, and even pass it down to the next generation.
Well, and you can travel with it too. I think that's what's amazing.
To a point.
Yeah, yes. Do you guys ever get stopped on a plane? They're like, "Hey, man, we've seen you before."
I have.
I'm going
Face recognition.
I'm going to Martinique in May,
Okay.
and I have a client there. She wants me to bring stuff down. I was going to have a girl literally wear jewelry, a lot of it, so I don't have to deal with the customs and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Don't give away dates. Don't give away
Okay,
dates.
ladies, if you're listening, Aaron has an opportunity for you.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to wear some stuff,
Great
and you want to
weekend,
travel to Europe,
yeah.
that's good. That's good.
I've actually been stopped in an airport with a couple million in my luggage. Wow. And, they ask questions.
And they're like, "Sir, you cannot bring this container of spray cologne. Sorry.
Yeah, if you're inside the States, it's perfectly legal. Just don't leave the States.
Just don't leave the States. Yeah, there are different rules internationally when you're traveling. with
different
a person.
countries got also different regulations.
You know, it's commodities. You need to be careful, and you need to respect the law if you're going to be investing your money. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I know we always talk about financially, your business is throwing off some money. You should probably have 10% of your portfolio invested in metals, correct? Isn't that what they
That's
say?
the traditional thing.
Traditional.
Correct. Yes. I think that, if you talk to a financial planner, you work with them, some of them integrated in, some don't. They say 10 to 15%. I think more, but
Okay.
I'm obviously a little bit biased. I grew up in the business, but I also grew up with the mindset that this is portable insurance. So if things get bad, if you have to liquidate, you can take it, like you said, or you can sell it. It's highly liquid, and it's just a good. Consider it maybe like a savings account.
Yeah, especially it's cash. So you don't need to go to the bank to get a loan. All transactions, everything is traceable. It's a safe deposit cash through metals or diamonds. And in regards to that, why I should invest in metals, precious metals? Why? What is the reason? And the reason I ask this is because we had a serious problem in Europe. We had two banks fail. Yeah,
Last week.
And people is pulling out the money because only you are secured $250,000 per person, per account, and even as per bank. But if you had another $250,000 in another bank, but they're connected, you lose your money. So you can lose $500,000 right there. Yes, with that. So this is the way to go.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you want to do other options, of course, you got real estate, land, there's other, assets that people claim.
This is pretty easy to get your money back out of, though.
Oh,
That's
like I
the
said,
trick.
it's highly liquid. You can buy in, you can buy out. There's a guy I deal with in town. He had a client who had $150,000 in silver bars. He went in and he was jumping on board with the whole crypto craze, and there was some pumps on some altcoins. So he cashed out $150,000. About a week later, he came back, bought his silver back. Maybe there was a small fluctuation. Maybe it was a little slightly higher, maybe a little bit lower even. But he probably doubled it in his crypto. But he's such a believer in metals that he bought it back.
He went back into metals. Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting. You guys have some bullion here, some bars on the table, right? How? What are the denominations? And you have a giant one I've been looking at the whole time.
I love that
Does that one have
Do
your
we
name
want
on it?
to want to start big?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one. Oh, it's
Oh,
heavy. He's
yes.
Chad is not joking. This is heavy. I mean,
100 troy ounces.
100 troy ounces.
Yeah,
What is that in pounds?
It's a fun piece.
That's
That's a good
10
question.
pounds.
You're the mathematician.
It's probably
here.
under 20. It's about 20 pounds, right?
It should be under 20.
Just under 20.
It's heavy.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, it is.
That would break a window if you threw it at it. Just saying.
It would, and then you'd be sad because you just threw away $2,500.
It's $2,500. Wow. So I think one of the interesting parts of this business, and we talk about investing in metals, but if I invest $2,500 as a business owner, right? I have this. I take this to somebody like Chad, and I say, hey, what could you make out of this? Like, how much stuff could you get out of that in jewelry?
It's a massive amount.
Okay.
This is very compressed, and even when you bump this up and talk about gold, an ounce of gold is incredibly small.
Yeah, it is.
So slightly larger than a quarter, maybe the size of a $50, is a full ounce of 24 karat gold.
Okay.
What I can get out of that, if I carat it down, is you're going to get some substantial jewelry. When you talk about, say, like a big heavy Cuban chain, we see a lot of those on TV these days. Those are ounces upon ounces upon ounces. I've seen some that are 10 pounds of wearable money.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Wow.
Well, you could take that, create, say, 10 pieces out of it, and you could at least double your money, right? Triple your money.
Here,
what could you do with it?
I could make you 50, 100.
50 pieces. See, this is where it gets really interesting because most people don't know people like you guys. That's what's fascinating, I think, about your business.
Yes.
Number one, you exist, right? There actually are people out here, 6 generations. Like, And I've known Aaron for some time, and I had some gold that I got it from my mother. It was like gold dental work. And I think I took it to Aaron and said, "Can you do anything with this?" Be
honest. Who killed you?
Yeah. It was good. I took it to him, and I had a watch from my Swiss grandmother gave me. Right. I took it to Switzerland. I lived in Geneva. Right. Watch capital of the world. And I went to several watchsmiths there. They couldn't fix it. They couldn't make it work again. And it was white gold. And I took it back to Aaron and said, "Aaron, I like the diamonds in it." There was diamonds in it. He pulled the diamonds out for me, got me great money for the white gold, which was excellent. And so I'm going to put the diamonds into something else eventually. That's because they're sentimental, you know. So just kind of scratch the surface with that. But as he starts telling me about his business, I go, wow. He tells me about what Chad does and how he interacts with people just like you guys. And I think it's a fascinating thing that a lot of times small business owners, we think very finitely about, oh, we're just going to buy a coin or we're going to buy this. It's not only about that. It's about taking something and transforming it into something that's better. You're making your own money at this point.
Yes, you're essentially. I mean, if you think about a painting by a master, it's some crushed berries and some water on some dried canvas. I mean, what the heck is it worth? 50 million.
Yeah,
apparently,
exactly.
10 million. That's what it is.
But you can only do that once.
Well, no, with paintings, with metals, you can do it
many
over
times
and over, and that's a big part of what our business focuses on is taking inherited pieces, something that maybe grandma had a lot of money, and she had a lot of jewelry that you inherited, but maybe she had horrible taste, or it's just not your style.
Well,
it didn't go away.
It's dated pieces,
Yeah,
so it's not.
It didn't go away.
What people like.
Yeah. So you essentially just changed the shape, and all your value is still there.
Absolutely.
Possibly more. And that's where you get into the bespoke pieces, the very high end, where you're taking a couple ounces of gold and turning it into something that's not worth $5,000. It's not worth $50 because it's beautiful.
It's fascinating. Now, just for business owners who may be listening and they say, "Yeah, I don't own any metal. I need to do some of this." And the easiest way probably to get in is coins. I imagine they're pretty simple.
It's an easy entry. I mean, a 1 ounce round, you're talking like $28.
$28
a piece, and you can just start stacking slowly. It's a term in the industry, silver stacking. I've been doing it for years. It's just, so if you were to compare that to gold, for instance, like a 1 ounce gold piece, you're looking at like 1,900. It could be 2,000, depending if it's like a graded.
Versus under $30.
Right, exactly.
So it's really, anybody can do this.
Yeah, it's like a huge ratio. It's like a 70-to-1 ratio for gold to silver. So it's an easy entry if you want to start investing, put stuff away. I would say, personally, if you're going to do the metals, leave it as is, pure gold, pure silver. But when it comes to like the heirlooms, the passed down stuff that people have gotten, or even gifts, I have clients who said, "Hey, my husband gave this to me, or my ex gave this to me. Gotcha. I don't wear it. I don't like it. What can we do with it?" That's where we'll sit down and say, you know what? This would look really good in a pendant. Take it out of a ring, center stone, you put a halo around it. And this is where Chad comes in and we'll just, do the custom layout. Yeah, 100%. And then they have the sentimental aspect where they have something that they don't feel guilty of like selling it, but they create something they actually love and they wear. And, you're being smart with the resources because, he can reuse gold. From what the rings or whatever jewelry piece.
But the most important thing in the service business is the trust. So it's real, real silver, real gold, real. Because the difference. Can you explain to us the difference, Chad, please? The difference between diamonds, the 3 steps: the synthetic diamond, the lab diamond, and the real one.
Well, starting off with the synthetics, I don't put any value in them whatsoever. And that's just it's a bit personal, but you're never going to get your resale. It's never going to happen. In these days, we've actually figured out how to make a diamond in a lab. A lab-grown diamond is something a lot of people are seeing on the internet these days. They're not sure exactly what it is, and I like to tell some customers it's much like making rock candy when you were a kid. It's almost that simple. But they actually are starting off with a seed diamond. They're using a piece of a mined miracle from the earth. And they found a way to introduce carbon in a high pressure, high temperature atmosphere. They mimic the earth and allow that carbon to build as it did in the earth on the original diamond. Wow. That's amazing. 100% real. This stone here 2.5 carats, it's lab, maybe 15 grand. It is a real diamond created in a lab. If this were a miracle that came out of the ground, created by nature, maybe
50,000. Yeah, big difference.
Big price difference.
Big
Big
difference.
price
Okay.
difference.
Well, and I think it's interesting that, you have relationships that don't work out. If you get the jewelry back, Carlos, that's all I'm saying. So I don't know.
That's why I. Can we put the GPS on the jewelry? I mean, that's I need to know where my money
I
goes.
don't think you want to know.
Unfortunately, it is a thing. So you can get that ring back, but the
can get the
technology is
ring
there
back.
as well.
Yeah.
You could download pictures and images and
That'd
things
be
like that
clever.
into a chip inside a piece of jewelry.
Makes me think a little bit. Yeah.
James Bond.
So now if some of our listeners are they're saying, yeah, I'm gonna get engaged, right? I was talking to Aaron about this. I said, the rule of thumb is 3 months salary for your diamond, and Aaron says, do you know where that came from? And I said, let me guess. I think it's the De Beers family came up with that. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. No, I mean, and listen, here's what I always tell our customers: do what's comfortable to you at the time. We don't encourage people to get into debt. We sell to a lot of students. They don't have a lot of money. The stores will offer financing options, of course, but
sure.
I think, start out small, and over the years we'll help you upgrade, and we'll that's the beauty of having that personal relationship opposed to buying online, right? A lot of people go online and they see a good price on a stone, but they don't realize not every diamond is created equal. You might have the same color, same clarity. The problem is there's maybe 10 other factors that affect the value
sure.
of the stone. It could be hot, strong fluorescence, which is undesirable. You could have a really thick girdle, which is undesirable. You lose weight in there. If the stone's not cut properly, you have crown angles. You got,
there's a million things.
There's a lot of factors, right? And especially of, and what people, they don't realize, you can have everything look good on paper, but until you see it, I've seen stones that for $100,000 round diamond that does not look good, sparkly and good, and on paper it looks good. And I hate it for whoever bought into that, because it's if you're gonna spend the money, even if it's $2,000, you want something sparkly that looks good, that you're happy, that she's happy with, right? On an engagement ring factor.
Especially the size and say ring size.
Diamonds are like people. Sometimes they look better on paper than in real life.
Right. Good analogy. But no, and that's where
that's terrible. That's terrible.
That's where the lab stones are a popular option today. We're getting a lot more demand and requests for it because people want it bigger, but they don't want to necessarily pay the higher price.
Exactly.
So it is a good option. I think there's pros and cons on both natural earth mine and lab, but it's a good option to offer the client.
So if somebody has jewelry or old jewelry, or maybe from an ex or somebody, and they're like, hey, I need to repurpose this a little bit. You're the person they can come to and just say, hey, take a look at this. I don't know what it's worth. What can we do with it?
100%.
And between the two of you guys, we can create something different, spectacular, and
100%.
more modern. Sure.
Don't go to the pawn shops. Don't
go to the pawn shops.
Yeah, it happens too much, and I've seen it. I mean, girls with 2-carat diamond rings, and they're like, "Oh, I got $2,000 for this," and I'm like, "Well, you got hosed."
Yeah, it was worth a lot more.
You just gave away a car.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, for basically almost a $20,000 ring.
Wow.
When it happened, somebody told me even the other day that older lady went in. She got $500 for a ring that's also maybe a $15,000 ring. So it happens, and it's unfortunate.
You don't want that happening.
No.
See, that's why you don't want to track
I'm thinking this is when you make jewelry, is any way that you can tell us, oh, that's the one you made for your ex-wife or your new wife don't appreciate that. So you keep track of your designs and everything, so it's not too alike?
I mean, yeah. Chad can take, if somebody came to me, they say, hey, we want to redo this. I'll sit down with Chad after, and I'll tell him exactly what we want to do. Maybe take the stone out, either put it in a ring or a new style. And maybe you want to explain kind of the custom process with, CAD design and everything.
And that is where things do get repeated. There are there's a lot of jewelry and a lot of jewelry stores, and it's not all that different.
Yeah.
When you deal with somebody like Aaron or myself, you get to have the input. You get to say, this is something I've had in my head for a long time, or I saw this in a store and it's just not me. So that's when we sit down with a pencil and paper and we change it a little bit just for you, and it gets made from scratch just for you. CAD design is something that's taken over the industry. Back when I got started,
It's in everything.
It's incredible. And, a lot of people don't even realize on the internet, I would be bold enough to say probably 90% of the jewelry images you see online are
They're not actually
computer generated.
They're not actually real.
It looks real. It's on somebody's hand. She's wearing that necklace and spinning around, and it's fake. I'm sorry, man. It doesn't exist. Back in the day, we literally just had to sketch it with a pencil, which I still do, and fabricate it in the metal. Melt that gold down, create your molds, pour your metals, and then set your stones. But things do get repeated. We try to make sure that it's your style, your version of a piece. Yeah, to make it.
It's got to be personal, right?
Exactly. And jewelry should be emotional.
Is personal. Should be emotional.
It really is. We say at our store, we always try to get a tear out of somebody every week. If you can make a woman cry in a good way, you've done a good job.
In a good way. That's right, Carlos. In a good way. Keep that in mind. Oh, yeah, it's good stuff. Now, going back to the metals for a minute, I was just going to say, I love that giant bar of silver. That's really cool, right? If you're holding this stuff as kind of a hedge against maybe the economy failing or something like that, that's a little harder to
sell,
to trade or sell than coins. So it's kind of, you have to diversify. Isn't that right? Is that the name of the game?
Yeah, I think it's a personal thing. Some people, people have different mindsets. So if, let's say, they think the dollar's going to crash, the world is going to come to an end, they want something like a low denomination that they can barter and trade with. If that's their mindset, then 1 ounces all day long.
Or all day long.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to have different denominations, people have those 1,000-ounce bars. I mean, you think that's heavy. That piece is just,
it's a big one.
Huge, brick. And everyone's different on their mindset on that. At the end of the day, though, like I said, if anyone buys in and then, let's say, 2-3 years down the road, they want to sell out, give me a call. I have people who want to buy all the time, so I can offer it to them. I'll just broker the deal. Or if they're moved to different location, obviously you want to shop around, but go to your different local coin shop dealers and try to get as close to spot price as possible.
Now, what is spot price? This is when you go into a store that says gold or coins, or even a pawn shop. They'll say they'll have the spot price up there. What is that?
Correct. Well, it's basically the price of that metal, an ounce of metal that day. So if you go to any reputable shop, usually we'll even have it on a screen. Gold spot price, silver spot price, platinum, palladium. So the precious metals, right? And that way you know exactly what you're dealing with. And
is that the price you pay if you're going to buy, or is that the price that they buy it at?
They're always going to be a premium. Buying, there's always going to be a premium.
Okay.
You can expect anywhere from I would say, $5 to, just to play it safe, $5 to $10 above spot. Now, when you sell, you want to sell as close to spot as possible. You don't want to go to a pawn shop where they're like, oh, I'll give you, if spot price on that coin is 25 today, and they're like, I'll give you
20.
Well,
no,
even they'll say 12 and a half,
12 and
right?
a half.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that.
It's when you exchange money with different countries, so you need to
same thing.
Yes, you will
try to get as close to spot as possible.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And any dealers know it's low margins, right? So they're gonna and if they're low, maybe they'll give you spot. Maybe they'll give you a little more on certain coins.
Really?
Just depending on what it is. So there's certain ones that have premiums.
Okay, so if advice for the small business owner starting out, if they're like, hey, I've never done this before, should they just call you and say, hey, I'm looking to do this? Let's give your number out. How do they reach you?
Cell is the best way. Obviously, email seems to be kind of phasing out, so we just text on everything. But 702-545-7596. Call me. We can have a simple discussion, kind of see where you want to be, your goals, and whether you want to buy in a large quantity at a time or just start stacking.
Yep.
Maybe one a month, or whatever you're comfortable
So you
with.
take the first. This is, like we said, this is a long-term relationship. You want these guys to be part of your team.
Absolutely.
As you're doing stuff.
Especially they are specialists, they are experts in the area.
Yes.
And you trust, because like I say, in this world there's so many fakes, gold, silver, jewelry that's really fake, that worth nothing, and people believe it's worth something.
It's unfortunate, but yes, part of the world we live in. I mean, Chad, people would bring stuff in his. I even appraised a guy's ring, and I tested it with the gold tester, the diamond tester. I loop it. I think he took it in as a trade for somebody that owed him money. It wasn't real. It happens all the time.
That stinks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
You guys see it.
Yeah,
It is.
Well, and if you go to the mall or you go to a pawn shop and you buy something, you're probably going to pay too much for it.
Usually you do, because of course
There's a
you got to
premium.
figure. Yeah, I mean, you're paying overhead on salespeople, insurance, the
place,
rent
brick and
per
mortar
month,
place,
and if they're in a nice
Retail
nice
environment.
retail commercial space, they're paying crazy money. So you got to figure they got to pay their bill and then make money on top. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Terrific.
So that's the beauty, is you're dealing a little bit more direct. We do sell to the stores, but we sell to private clients. And again, at the end of the day, you can get the quality level of diamonds or gemstones, and you're not going to pay the high-end luxury price of going to, Tiffany's, let's say, or Cartier, or a high-end luxury boutique, and you can get the same look, the same quality for at least, like, I would say, a third less.
I want to go into the business of selling Tiffany boxes and bags. Just that's it. What do you think, Carlos? Will you do that?
Well, they're real. I mean, the original ones.
No, they're real bags, but they're not the real brand.
Because,
Little
I
turquoise
had,
box.
I had people in the swap meet. They can sell it
swap
to
meet
you.
people have those too?
They knockouts.
Yeah, because you're paying a lot of times for the bag or the box.
I mean, it's branding.
branding.
And this is the era that we live in. You can, part of marketing, right? And you're building up the brand, and you're putting a celebrity behind it, let's say, or fancy, campaigns, and people do buy into it.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you want a high-end watch, right? I mean, I know Rolex is like the status symbol kind of watch, but if you are really a watch guy, you understand the history of the company, you understand, and a lot of them are subtle. They don't really get out there and advertise that much. But if you appreciate the history and the brand, that's what it's a personal thing. They buy into that. They say, hey, you know what? There's something I can relate here.
I remember the Rolex 30 years ago. The president Rolex gold was $5,000. The submarine $7,500. 30 years ago. Today, oh my God,
like
100,000.
Yeah.
It's
a lot.
crazy expensive now.
Yeah,
Even the fakes are expensive, Carlos.
Oh yeah, not in my place. So I mean,
I got to go shopping with Carlos.
no.
And then, Chad, how do we get in touch with you?
Vegas number. Text is just as easy as an email, but 702-656-2000. That's for our location. Again, it's a textable number. That
Awesome.
seems to work for everybody these days. We are a concierge jeweler, so
Okay.
I either come to you or you come to my office. We meet privately. You do not do it in a store location. You don't have eyes on you. Mm-hmm. It is very secure and nice and quiet, which people enjoy.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
VIP treatment.
That's the way
Everybody
it is
loves
these
that.
days.
Everybody
You know,
loves
when
that.
you're dealing with these precious metals, and you're talking about your future. It's something that you've put a lot of. I mean, do we all just have disposable income just to throw away? No. When you're investing this type of money into your future, you should be treated well.
Should be treated well. Exactly.
And also for the business owners, that they can start saving money here. It's money. So when you invest $250 or $300 per bar, so it's money there. And if the silver goes up in the market, you just double or triple your gain. No, at least put it 25%. Not a bank can give you that return.
Exactly.
Not in market either.
I would buy into silver or any precious metal with the long-term mindset.
Buy and hold.
Yes.
But however, I mean, it's a great time right now. It's very undervalued. Like I said, industrially, they're using a lot more silver and, and all the,
EVs,
the
new
EV
EVs,
cars,
yes.
correct. And so, the demand is going to be huge, and it's already growing that way. So why silver isn't higher now, that's speculative. I don't know, but it's a great time to buy in. So I'd say buy sooner than later.
Buy sooner than later.
Yeah.
Any last word pieces of advice for our listeners?
Well, again, it's jewelry is very personal. It's something that, if you have pieces that you want to convert into something wearable or something you've had passed down, I mean, we're there to help you with something you're going to love in the long run. And Chad's been amazing. We've worked with each other for the last year, and he's so meticulous on the work. I don't have to go back and say, hey, Chad, we need this done again. He does it right the first time, which is amazing for any jeweler not to have to do. And he knows the business. He's been doing it, 30 plus years?
25.
Yeah.
25 years.
25 years.
But it's your future. When you come to somebody, like Aaron was talking about the high end, the uber high end, the Cartier, the Rolex, people are not just paying for the brand, but they're also paying for quality. That Rolex has the same watch, Carlos, you were saying, it was $5,000.
Yes.
Now it's 30, now it's 100.
Yeah.
It's the same watch. It was
the same watch.
Quality. Somebody invested in the quality.
That's the key.
And that transferred to a huge profit for somebody who invested in that when they were younger, or that their dad did.
Exactly.
So if you're raising a family, if you're investing for your future, if you're thinking about it, silver is a great way to get started. It builds you a stable base. And as you get a little older, you get a little more money under your belt, and you want to start creating those beautiful pieces of artwork.
You can take the silver then and create
That's
stuff.
where I come into play.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, and put it under one trust so nobody knows.
Smart man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carlos.
I love you, Grandpa. Oh, yeah, you love me.
That's good. That's good advice. Well, it's been great talking to you guys. This is really a lot of fun. We love seeing all this money on the table.
This
is great, right? I think this is the most amount of money we've had on the table, Carlos.
Oh, yeah.
During the podcast.
My hands, my fingers, I don't know. No, I like that time.
Next time I'll bring a model. She can just
yeah. Next time we need a model to wear some of Chad's creations.
I'll be sick at that time because my wife will kill me.
Yeah,
you get used to it.
Carlos, it's work. It's work. Okay.
Oh yeah,
There you go. Well, thank you again, Aaron and Chad, for being with us here today.
Thanks so much.
Thank you once again for another wonderful edition of the BizLife Podcast. We're grateful to be here with the Latin Chamber today, and get out there, get started in your business. Do something really good for your business today. Get started.
Save money. Save money for your future.
Yep.
This is your future.
Yep. So go do something great in your business. Let's get started today. No comment.